Hey guys, Lindsay here. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are going to do a little first impressions look with the Fresh Baked palette from Bombshell Cosmetica. This is their cookie palette. So this one released recently with their Malt Shop collection. I did have the burger palette and I did the milkshake palette, but I never picked up this one. This is what it looks like. It looks like a cute little chocolate chip cookie. So I had not originally purchased this one, but Bombshell recently reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be sent a PR box, and I said, hell yeah, that would be awesome. So they sent me a bunch of stuff, including 3 palettes that I already own, which is like the Bombshell, the Milkshake, and the original Candylicious palette. So I have those, and I'm gonna hang on to those for a future giveaway. So I'll do that maybe at some point in the future, maybe when I hit another milestone. For now, I'm just hanging on to them. They're all nicely sealed, but I did feel like it would be fun to do a video with this palette. They also sent me their highlighters, the loose highlighters. I know there's one of them in particular that's the lightest one that I'm gonna really enjoy. So I'm probably gonna open up that one, and then the other 2 I will leave sealed again for the giveaway. And then they sent me one of their hot dog lashes, which I have a couple of their other pairs, so I'll definitely use these today in this look, depending on how the look goes, because sometimes I don't like to wear too bold of a lash if it's gonna cover everything up. But yes, let me go ahead and do some swatches of this little palette for you guys. I guess I could show you a little close up. So yes, it does look like a little chocolate chip cookie. On the back, you have the ingredients. It says Fresh Baked. It's got Bombshell Cosmetica's information, and it's magnetized, but the whole thing comes off. There's a mirror on the side, and then this is what the shadows look like. So you have a nice little mix of mattes and metallic shimmers, and then this really gorgeous black with gold sparkle in it. I really do love their metallic formula. It's so super creamy. So I think I'm gonna kind of go more of the like burgundy route. We'll see. I kind of have an idea in mind of what I want to do with this palette. So let me do some quick swatches. I'll show those to you, and then we can get into the look. Oh yeah, I did want to mention, first off, it smells heavenly. It does smell like, yeah, it smells like a chocolate chip cookie or like cocoa. It's really yummy. And this one, I did look on their website. So it does retail for $25, and it is still in stock right now. I do believe that I don't think this is going to be permanent to their collection. I think some of the other palettes will stay permanent, but I don't think this one is going to be. So if you have been interested in it, this will kind of be a good way for you to see a look with it and kind of decide if you want to pick it up. But yeah, so let's go ahead and do the swatches and then get into the look. Okay, so just like with the other palettes in this collection, there aren't names on the palette itself, but there are some names on the back. Unfortunately, since it's round and the palette is round, I'm not entirely sure how they line up. I think I could maybe figure it out, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm just gonna show them to you guys. Basically right here, this little portion right here is the center ring, and then these are the outer ring of the cookie. You definitely have a couple of different formulas in here from what I'm used to from them. This one right here specifically is really flaky. This one's a little bit similar to that. These 2 are more their traditional kind of metallic type of formula. And then the mattes themselves were all really nice and creamy. This one is incredibly beautiful. I don't know if you're even able to see the sparkle in that. It's super beautiful. So I think I want to use it as my liner. I think I'm going to combine it with the NYX mixing medium like I did the other day and try to make a liner out of it. So we shall see how that works, but let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. I think I'm going to start out with this deeper kind of reddish brown shade that's in the center of the palette. I'm gonna start out, I do have the ABH primer. That's what I've been using recently. I have that and I left it tacky, so I'm gonna use this kind of angled brush just to stamp some of that color directly into the crease. And just kind of wiggle the brush back and forth at the edge a little bit. I'm gonna kind of blend this out, but not too crazy. I think then I want to go into the lightest kind of reddish shade, still using the same brush. And I'm gonna see how this goes on the inner part. I feel like they're gonna end up looking very similar, and pretty much they do. But yeah, I wanna leave it a little brighter on the inner portion. And then I'm just going to take a clean brush and really kind of work on softening the edges. And then I'm gonna take a little bit more of the lighter reddish shade on that same brush we were still just using and just kind of add it more to the top part of the darker shade. That way it's like you have the deeper kind of line right at the crease, but it's still that brighter kind of berry tone everywhere else. Yeah, I think I like that. And I'm gonna take a little bit more of it and just kind of work on this little outer part. I just want to make sure it doesn't get too dark and heavy, because this is a darker palette, it's a deeper palette, and I just don't want anything too dark and heavy right this second. I'm gonna go back in with the first shade again, just to stamp a bit more right in the crease. I think I will go ahead and bring it in a little further, just so that the crease has the depth. And then back with the other brush again, just to blend a little bit better. Okay, so I want to do some shimmers, maybe a little bit of comboing of the colors. I think I'm going to add a little bit more of the deep shade onto the actual lid. I always like it when I have like a shimmer and then it trails off into the matte. So I'm going to lay that down first. And then I'm going to use this shimmer right here. I'm just going to use it on my finger. And I think I'm gonna take this shade right here. So this is the one I used right there. And then I'm gonna take this one, which was a bit chunkier. I'm gonna take this one, and I think I'm gonna have to use it on my finger too. Take it on my pinky and try to spread it on the inner part. And I'm gonna make sure that it overlaps in the center, just because it's the brighter of the two. So I wanna have that brightness kind of at a little diagonal. I'm going to take the brush that I used on the crease color just to knock down any shimmer that got up there. And then last but not least, I'm going to take the gold on a flat brush. So this shade right here, take that on a flat brush. I think I will spray it and tuck this right in this little inner corner area. Okay, and then again, just like with the other shade, I kind of trailed it over at a diagonal. And last but not least, back in with the original. I'm gonna do like a mixture of the original first two shades, the two mattes, and just kind of blend this a bit better. Okay, this might be a total mistake. I really hope it doesn't mess everything up, but I kind of want to take this lighter shade very lightly at the top here. I'm just wondering if it'll help the tone of the metallics blend better, to not be so berry toned and be a bit more, have a bit more of a brown tone to it, just like a subtle brown to it. I think that helps actually. Okay, that is all for the upper lid, at least for right now. Let's jump down to the lower lash line. I think I want to bring in the green, I guess. I think I'll do the green. So I'm gonna get that on an angled brush and I'm gonna spray it and then line the lash line. And then with a flat but kind of fluffy brush, I think I'm gonna blend that out. I think I'll use this lighter shade. I might bring in one of the deeper shades too, but for now I'm gonna go with that one and just buff underneath this green. That is really pretty. I am gonna take this deeper brown shade just a little bit and come a little closer to the green. So you have a bit more of a gradient. And just match it up there where it meets the other outer shades. And then once more back in with the liner brush into the green, just to make sure it's still nice and intense. Now, time for the liners. So first let's finish off the actual eye. I think I'm gonna do a teaspoon from ColourPop just because it is a brighter green and I hope that it'll kind of help bring a little brightness to the look. And then for the liner, like I mentioned, I'm gonna do exactly like I did with my Alien Cosmetics 2 Looks palette. So I'm gonna scrape a little bit of this black with the glitter in it. I'm gonna scrape a little bit of that onto my hand and I'm going to use this NYX multitasking mixing medium. So any kind of mixing medium you have will work. You could probably do this just as fine with either laying down some glitter glue first or using just a wet brush, honestly, would even probably work. But if you're able to get some of this stuff, because it's super cheap, I mean, it's under, I think it's like $7 or $8, super, super cheap. And you can easily make your own liners, and this actually kind of makes them a bit budge proof, which is awesome. So I basically just take my brush and just scrape up the tiniest little bit. I don't know if you can even see how much I did there, but I just kind of scrape it up and get it on the brush. So let's see. And then I just pop it on the back of my hand like that. And then I start mixing it together. And if I need to go back and get more, I will. Okay, and then I'm going to do a wing liner. Okay, so I definitely moved a little faster than I had planned on it, so I ended up with a really big wing, but you know, since it's kind of part of the palette that I'm trying to show off, I don't mind quite too much, so yeah. I will say that I noticed that the black sparkle wasn't coming out quite as much when I was using the mixing medium, so it's starting to dry now. You can kind of still see it, but what I did was while it was still tacky, I just dipped my brush back into the actual dry product in the palette and just patted a little bit over it, and so it kind of helps some of that glitter cling to it, and I think it looks really good. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm gonna end up doing. Let me go ahead and do mascara, and I think I probably will go ahead and do these lashes. We'll see. If they're, like I said, if they're too big and they cover up too much, then I won't use them. And then I'm gonna pop on the highlighter. I'm going to use Cherry Pie, I think. So yeah, let me do all that and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the finished look. I ended up going with the hot dog lashes. So these are Hot Diggity is what they're called. And this is the style Cherry. It is still a very, very bold lash, but I figured since I had a really, you know, giant wing, it wouldn't take too much away from it. I feel like it can kind of, they balance each other out nicely. And you still can see the rest of the look. I feel like you can see it just as fine. I did go with the Jeffree Star lip gloss in Wet Peach. I've just really been enjoying it since I got it. Oh, and one more thing I almost forgot that I did. I used the highlighter that they sent me, the loose highlighter in the shade Cherry Pie. That's what I ended up popping on my cheek as a highlight. And I went ahead and put a little bit of it over the top of the gold just to add that brightness that you guys know that I love in an inner corner highlight. But yeah, that is pretty much everything. I will say just some thoughts on this palette. So if you're going to try the technique that I did where you do the black as a liner, I would maybe recommend doing your foundation last or just kind of be prepared for some fallout. I know for me personally, I just kind of made a bit of a mess, especially because I was mixing on the back of my hand. I kept accidentally getting some black on my finger and touching my face, or some of it would fall, especially when I was trying to dab. You know how I mentioned I kind of took a little bit of the dry powder and then was dabbing it over the top of the mixing medium afterwards. I'm sure I got a little fallout from doing that. I mean, it wiped away pretty easily and I was able to just kind of touch up with a little bit of powder, but just be warned if you're gonna try something like that. I'm not the biggest fan of the formulas that are a bit more of this chunky metallic, specifically this one and the gold. The green and blue seem more like a normal metallic. This one even, the kind of burgundy one, the one that I put on the outer part, seems more like their regular formula. The other ones just seemed a little bit chunky to where they really worked better when you were using your finger and you're able to kind of spread it out. They worked fine when I did it with a wet brush, but I just noticed more kind of clumps sticking in places and I had to kind of really work to spread them out. I don't know how that would work over a glitter glue, if it would be better or worse, but it's not my favorite formula. I prefer just their regular metallic, like what they have in the Milkshake palette. I love all of those. So, I mean, I personally think that's probably one of the best palettes in this whole collection just because their metallic formula is so great and that's such a fun palette as a companion piece to other palettes because, like I said, I really like the shimmer formula. But overall, this one is a good little palette if you like the deeper color story. This isn't necessarily the color story that I would gravitate towards on a normal type of daily basis. So I don't foresee me getting as much use out of this one, but it is still a really pretty palette if you like the kind of deeper neutral side of things, because you have some fun pops of color, but they're more on the neutral side. They're more on the safe side. I feel like anybody could feel comfortable adding a little pop of a deep green or a deep blue or, you know, a deep burgundy like something like an accent on the lower lash line, you could totally get away with doing that and not feeling like you're wearing too much color if color is not something you're into. So it's a good neutral palette if you like a deep neutral. So that would be what I would say about that. But yes, I do like the look that I got here. I think it's really pretty. And I did like the way the mattes performed. I guess I can say that. The mattes performed, in my opinion, just like the other mattes in this collection, like the Burger palette. I thought they were really easy to blend out, very beautiful tones. The two kind of burgundy ones are very close to each other, especially when you put them side by side, but you do, when you start blending them out, you can see the difference in the brightness of the lighter one, but that's pretty much it. I really do love this kind of like lighter brown shade that I did on the lower lash line. It's a really pretty shade in my opinion, like a really pretty neutral brown. So yeah, that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, of course, please give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.